Hey, IDS 302. Welcome to Module 3, Video 2. It is Thursday, no, it's not November, June 3rd, and got about 11 o'clock in the morning. Let's get going on this. I guess it's a day late, but we had a holiday week, and I don't need to get rushed on these things. So just to start off, I'm just going to throw my housekeeping odds and ends out. Oh, by the way, class of 2013. What's up? That was mine too. It's not like my grandkids. It's me. Okay. No late quizzes. Remember that. Okay. I noticed that I mistakenly had quiz 3, I think it was, or 2, I forget. It was still open after the due date. Be careful. I can't accept after. I checked them all now. It should close up. So they close up on the due date. Make sure you're aware of that. Remember, this quiz 3 is 5 questions worth 5 points each regarding ethics in research. So we've gone through that. We did that in Module 1, I think, but it's important. So let's do that for Sunday before 11:59. Easter eggs, reminder, you have 5 days to get the 5 points. Okay, I don't use a sliding scale of 4 points, 3 points, 2 points, 1 point. You get 5 days to get the 5 points in, get Easter eggs in, so that should be workable, right? I got through all the step ones pretty quick. Might be spoiling you for grading because I know that some people are like, I submitted my work an hour ago, you haven't scored it yet. So it's fine. I'm glad that I'm able to turn around because a lot of you have been subjected to massively delayed grading by instructors and things. I think that's unfair to you. How are you expected to improve throughout the course without feedback, right? Found some interesting research-related links, course-related links, call them what you will. One of them, and I'm going to post all 4 with the announcement. One of them is octopuses on ecstasy just want to cuddle, or just want to cuddle. That is bizarre, but it is a published study in Nature, and they gave apparently MDMA, the drug commonly known as ecstasy, triggers the release of neurotransmitter serotonin, causing feelings of happiness and closeness to others. Never done it. The California two-spot octopus has a serotonin transport system similar to that of humans. And to determine whether this system serves the same function in octopuses as humans, Eric Edzinger of the Marine Biological Laboratory in Woods Hole, Massachusetts, and another partner there submerged 5 octopuses or octopi, I don't know, but it says octopuses, in MDMA-laced water and tested their behavior around others of their kind. After absorbing the drug, the animals ignored toys such as Star Wars figurines that they normally would play with and intrigue them. Instead, the octopuses socialized, spent more time touching one another with their arms than these creatures usually do. The findings suggest, the findings don't prove, the findings suggest, whether it's a quantitative survey of yours or whether it's this, the findings suggest, it should be an Easter egg, but it's not. The findings suggest that serotonin played an important part in social behavior in the common ancestor of octopuses and vertebrates, whose branches on the family tree separated more than 500 million years ago. Isn't that interesting? So that's one that I saw. And another one, just to show you, like when you get into some of the papers you're writing for university, for research, for whatever have you, when you don't back up your opinion, your claims with peer-reviewed sources, academic sources, the piece becomes an opinion piece. And I want to show you an example of that. Now, it's a provocative title. It's not meant to trigger anybody. So you don't have to read it, you don't have to look at it. But Elie Mystal is an attorney at law and a commentator, social commentator. He wrote in the Nation, the miseducation of white children, The attacks on critical race theory are just another attempt to prevent this country from reckoning with its racist past and present by keeping white kids ignorant. This is an opinion piece. Now, here's where I'm getting into the subtleties. Try not to knee-jerk reaction to it. What I am focusing on here is, and because sometimes it has to be a dramatic example. Sometimes those small examples of differences don't work. You have to, like I used to do when I was a kid. My dad used to make me sweep the garage, and I always remembered the best time to sweep was after he got done woodworking. There was sawdust everywhere because I could see complete change between a sawdust floor garage, and a clean one. It's very dramatic. So when you see this, like I'm using an example that's dramatic, so you can note the differences. But the differences then can be subtle because this is definitely an opinion piece. It's presented as an opinion piece. It's extensive, but it raises many questions and facts and figures and things and historical data, but there's no sources here. Okay, I mean, I think a couple of things might be linked, hot linked, but there's no sources to back it up. But it could be fact checked. So when you submit your paper in this class and there's really no sources, there are no sources or minimal to none sources, yeah, we could probably fact check it, but it's the researcher's job. This is a commentator, you're a researcher. So there's a difference. I'm going to include that because I think it's excellent, well written, maybe uncomfortable for some, but I think it's, very appropriate in this day and age where we're approaching these subjects. Back when I grew up in the 60s and 70s, there were a lot of taboo subjects you couldn't, socially commentate about. As we move forward, we've made a lot of progress in many areas socially, right? So we're just continuing to push that envelope. Many people have differences of opinion about where that leads to or what it might look like, but that's not what I'm focused on here as much as I'm focused on, there's mention of George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Sally Hemings, Sojourner Truth, Lewis and Clark, Sacagawea, Ronald Reagan, Pee Wee Herman. And there's so many references in here, but they're not referenced, they're not cited, So I'm going to include that for your own perusal. Then I've got a third one, which is another opinion piece from The Atlantic by Charlie Pierce. And he talks about the effects of the climate crisis are complex and interconnected. One is that it's getting deadly hot. So this is Charles Pierce, who is basically a political commentator and writer, observer. He goes around and goes to all these events and things. So now what's he doing writing about climate crisis? Well, he's relating us to the first real heat wave of the summer, moving east over there, and blah blah blah. But he said, and this study published in Nature suggests that, you get that? Again, not proves, doesn't show, it suggests that. That's both these articles use. Already, the climate crisis is putting most of the world in the same boat. And so he's going through these points on this study. So this is an opinion piece, more or less, because of the way he writes, but it's also linked to a peer-reviewed study. He also has the link of that study in his article. So it's from Nature Climate Change, and I'm going to include that one as well. So you've got those four, all right? The actual published study. All right, so regarding the HAL video so far, I always like reading that. Obviously, that was my baby. So it's always interesting to see what students are picking out of it. And hopefully, for the most part, you found it enjoyable. And like I said, it's my baby. And I'll be talking a lot more about that on Sunday after the due date runs out. So I don't give any heads up to people that are still working on it. One of your classmates noticed that his Facebook and kind of his social presence is pretty much dormant for a while. I apologize, but this movie was made in 2016, 5 years ago, past spring, and a lot of things have changed, obviously. Hal moved to Hawaii, and he was doing real well with his jewelry work on the beach. He loved doing it. He used to tell me all about it. He wanted to go back to Hawaii. I remember in the movie he was in Hawaii. He said, I want to go back. I want to live there. I want a little kiosk on the beach, and I'm happy. And that's it. And he finally did it. Pissed me off because he left me here. But He sold everything, shipped his van out there, and moved there. Then the pandemic hit, so now I think he lives up on Maui, and Maui Hal is his new name, I guess. And uh, he rents a place from a guy who has a farm or something, and lives up in the high country, loves it. I'm trying to get out there to visit him. Then the pandemic hit, so Hal didn't have any tourists to sell his stuff to. So I think he kind of quit, but he'll be 74 this year. So this is like some of the stuff he sent me recently. He was showing off his new teeth, and then he was showing off his new teeth, showing off his new girlfriends, Hal, and showing off. I think this is when he threatened to come up here and kick my ass because I insulted him. I know it is. Yeah, he's got a doobie, doesn't he? Well, Hal's character, I love him like a big brother. He's so imperfect, like we all are, though, right? I mean, so in the movie, you notice there's a quite a dash of misogyny in this, right? Hal's old school. Hal was Hell's Angels. Hal's was, so it's rough around the edges. You've got a lot of girls. A lot of women are girls. Okay, there's a couple of babes, hot babes. Okay, and usually gals. It's about as tame as it gets. That's Hal. You take somebody for what they're worth there. Okay, um, but I'll get into more of that on next Sunday. Actually, less of that, more of other stuff. Okay, Easter egg number one: acknowledge interdisciplinarity. Acknowledge interdisciplinarity. That's what you're seeing a lot of you when you're seeing this video, and I'll get into more about that. And I like how you're doing that because, like I said, sometimes we can still get hardwired in such a way that we look at things a little more critical thinking. One of my four biggest failings of human society that we live in now is we lack compassion, we lack empathy, we lack open-mindedness, and we lack critical thinking. Okay. Anyways, all right. Step one, and the redos, by the way, overwhelmingly good. Good work. Very well written. Um, Overall in the class, there's still a number of students over 100%. 75% of the class has an A or a B. So you guys are doing fabulous, okay? And if you're not where you want to be, just do a self-assessment. Contact me if you need some help or assistance, okay? And we'll go from there. Regarding formatting, did you not take me seriously? That's fine. I'm actually impressed. Most people are getting it right the first time, and if you're not getting it right the second time, okay? This is not a creative writing course, so you can do anything, write in circles or whatever creative. This is strict, a lot of discipline in this, self-discipline in writing a certain way to present the work, okay? And I just want to get you, once you know those rules, then you can stretch and break them later, okay? So Easter egg number two, know your formatting, okay? All right, step two, more writing. Aren't you excited? Are you not entertained? Okay, so step two, justify an interdisciplinary approach. Instructions say what meaningful questions can you ask about the issue problem. You can read yourself, so I'm not going to redo this for you. You're going to look at these things. Hopefully you'll take a look at page 71 of Tanner, which, oh, I have it here. I just pen it here. There you go. See, I got this thing all highlighted. It's conditions for successful interdisciplinary research. This should help you in step two quite a bit because you're justifying an interdisciplinary approach. And this is conditions for successful interdisciplinary research. They go hand in hand in many ways, okay? So you got some rhetorical questions to ask to help you prompt your writing. You've got some questions that can articulate that do not need to be answered, but they're considerations of this study, all right? Then you have three subsections in this step. The interdisciplinary justification, which I guess is the first section, right? The assumptions of the study and the limitations of the study. There is an excellent sample here to use. I like the thoroughness of this sample. That was back even when I was only giving 75 points for step two. I was giving 50 for step one, 75 for step two, and on and on. I've decided to go 100, 100 across the board. And so when you look at this, the introduced by justification, she has 4.5 pages. I'm so damn impressed with that. Okay. Now, I don't expect you to be 4.5 on that. Okay. If you give me 2 on the introduction, I would not look askance at it. Okay. But again, I don't want to put limitations on you. I would rather you do the work, right? But you can read it. You know, it goes through the topic quite well. The assumptions of the study. You can be very literal here in many ways. What do you assume on this study? You assume that people are going to acknowledge, a political divide in this country that might be as bad as they've ever seen. You're gonna make an assumption that most people have tried some type of alternative medicine. You're gonna make an assumption that overall people don't have any problem using CBD products and those things. There's always these assumptions, whether it's about self-driving cars or anything. Okay, so you want to go through the assumptions. Take a look at what she wrote here. Then you got the limitations of this study, and I would say they're all good. I mean, you could use them. Okay, I'm going to say you read them and type them. You're done. Do not copy and paste them. Type them yourself. So you assimilate them. Okay, because obviously if I see 8-week semester, I know you copied and pasted it because this is not an 8-week semester. Notice on the third one especially, the data collected will be impacted by the compact time frame as it may be more geared toward university students, classmates, rather than a large age range of random adults. I don't mind that one so much, but I will call you on the carpeting if you ever leave out random adults and go with students or something. Because this should be more than students. It has to be random adults, right? We talked about that. Random adults. I want you to be able to send it to your 88-year-old grandmother, your 63-year-old instructor, and friends, family, anywhere, random adults, as long as they're 18 and over, right? Okay, but yes, she's making the concession here that it may be more geared, and I would say better wording to this would be it may result in more university level students responding to the survey because it is a course type of thing. Use your judgment on that. You can expand on these, okay? Notice the works cited list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 citations here. And you look at them and they're all journals. Chef's kiss, okay? Journals or textbooks. These are legitimate sources. This is not Forbes.com. It's not Merriam-Webster. It's not Encyclopedia. It's not Chron.com. It's not the New York Times. It's not the Gov. It's not .com, .gov. It's not .org. These are legit sources. She did the work. She found it. Okay, she did the work. This is a sterling paper. So if you want a ceiling, this would be it. You can go past it, but I'm just telling you, okay? Use the sample, use it as a template in terms of organization, get your content in there, right? Okay, so 18.5 minutes. We're gonna wrap this up before 20. That sounds so cool, huh? All right, okay. Well, Easter egg number 3 is no more redos. So do not go into this assuming I'll just redo it again. I'm not doing redos. Most of you have it down pat. After step 1, you know what I'm looking for, you know what I want. Give me that and do step 2 and get it in there. Again, I took out an assignment last week, this week, so you can focus more on doing some quality work. If you wait and do this all on Sunday, don't expect to get more than an 80 or 75, okay? It just won't happen. But maybe it will, but I'm just saying. And then next week, when we get into module 4, we're going to ramp it up real quick. Next week, we'll be doing your survey and doing step 3. Those are big ones, okay? And just to give you a heads up on that, looking at the modules for module 4, primary data collection, peer-reviewed sources, quiz 4, and annotated bibliography, and doing the survey. A lot of things are going to come up next week. So Most everyone is up to date on this. I really appreciate your efforts. You're invested. You're doing a great job. That's all I got. No, 20 minutes. Dang it. Forks up. Peace.